We do know that the city of New Orleans was impacted by a terrorist attack. It's all still under investigation.
Oh my God. I heard that boom too, but I didn't know it was actually.
It was a boom? Interesting coincidence. Or not. Are those other explosives going off, or are those battery cells exploding? The suspect identified in the New Orleans terror attack is named Shamsud Din Bahar Jabbar. This is being reported from several news entities, including the New York Times. They have a bunch of updates for us on what happened. Also being confirmed by Tom Winter, saying being reported from Julia Candelanian over at NBC, saying 3 senior law enforcement officials briefed on the matter say they have preliminarily identified the suspect in the vehicle ramming and killing 10 people, maybe and counting, injuring dozens more, as Shamsud Din Jabbar. Date of birth 10/26/82. And so we're learning more about this, and things are breaking as we speak. But we've also seen some interesting photographs that have been published. Phil Holloway, who is a Fox News contributor and an awesome attorney also on YouTube and on X, was sharing this, saying he was joining Fox News today to talk about this, and sharing this photo that's been shared all over the place that seemingly shows this little pole that is poking out the hitch of the truck that looks like it might be a flagpole. And people are asking, what is that? There's been various videos spread around the internet, and some people saying that was not on there, some people saying it was attached. We're still asking questions about it. Was this tied up? Is this being covered? Because some people are noticing black flags that have white symbols on them look like this, white writing, which means it might be an ISIS flag. And we've been asking the question, are there terrorists inside the country? Because our borders have been wide open for the last 4 years. In fact, we've been flying people in, and nobody has been keeping tabs on national security. So here you can see this is a rumor being speculated. Maybe that little white marking on the flag is something ISIS related. It was maybe flying as the vehicle was coming in and it was wrapped up. Don't know. There are other videos out there, which I can't verify their authenticity, that show that there is no flagpole on the back of it, but others are responding to those videos saying that's not accurate. So a lot of information still in the fog of war right now. What we've got some statements from the FBI and from the White House. Here's what the FBI said. This morning, an individual drove a car into a crowd of people on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, killing a number of people and injuring dozens of others. The subject then engaged with law enforcement and is now deceased, engaged with firearms. The FBI is the lead investigative agency on this, and we are working with our partners to investigate this as an act of terrorism. So that's from FBI official, and the White House has also published a statement, but that doesn't mean much because the statement is coming from Joe Biden. I have been continually briefed since early this morning by federal law enforcement leadership and my Homeland Security team, including Ali Mayorkas. Ali? Alejandro? Is he changing his name? Is he shortening it like Diddy? Ali? It's Alejandro. Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco, one of the most corrupt people in the DOJ for the time being. White House Homeland Security Advisor Liz Sherwood Randall, and the mayor of New Orleans regarding the horrific incident that occurred there overnight. The FBI has taken the lead in the investigation and is investigating this incident as an act of terrorism. I'm grateful for the brave and swift response of local law enforcement in preventing even greater death and injury. I have directed my team to ensure every resource is available as federal, state, local law enforcement work assiduously to get to the bottom of what happened as quickly as possible and to ensure that there is no remaining threat of any kind. I will continue, says Joe, to receive updates throughout the day, and I will have more to say as we have further information to share. In the meantime, my heart goes out to the victims and their families who are simply trying to celebrate this holiday. There is no justification for violence of any kind, and we will not tolerate any attack on any of our nation's communities. And that's from the president. Now, more updates here from the New York Times. They tell us Mayor Karen Bass of LA is also going to be keeping a vigilant eye on other events today, the Rose Parade, and the Rose Bowl game later on today. A street security system that was actually protecting this place was under construction at the time. So would have been nice if that was done. The FBI 3 minutes ago said in a statement that the suspect was a U.S. citizen from Texas. He was driving a Ford pickup truck that appeared to have been rented. Now keep this in mind because there's also a Cybertruck that just caught fire outside of Trump's hotel in Las Vegas. He was driving a Ford. Investigators are working to determine how the suspect got the vehicle. They say also an Islamic State flag 3 minutes ago and a weapons and a potential IED were found in the vehicle. There it is. Look at that. So the internet was even ahead of the media. Says we were also located in the French Quarter, but other potential bombs were also located in the French Quarter. So looks like an ISIS flag. Investigators were working to determine the suspect's potential associations and affiliations with terror organizations as of 3 minutes ago. Incredible. So investigators are examining what appeared to be a furled Islamic State flag that was found on the vehicle used in the attacks, according to law enforcement officials who spoke on condition of anonymity. And that was first that the speculation was accurate. Photos show the crashed truck. This was the direction of the truck, and the footage is horrific, and we pause and pray for the families and everybody who's lost someone today. Direction of the truck, some bodies are visible in the video, and a lot of people are injured. This is the area of attack in New Orleans. If you've been there, people reporting like it was something out of a horror movie, and many of you may have been out on the streets. We were out in the middle of the streets. They were closed down, but this is something that could happen anywhere. We know what happened recently in Germany. Local records in Texas show that the suspect was in New Orleans. He was charged many years ago in 2 minor crimes. In 2002, he was arrested in Texas for theft, misdemeanor. 3 years later, he was arrested by Beaumont police for driving with an invalid license, also a misdemeanor. The NFL, which is scheduled to hold the Super Bowl in New Orleans, deeply saddened by the attack. They're investigating the attack as terrorism because certainly appears to be that, especially if you have an ISIS flag there. The FBI has a broad definition of 2 kinds of terrorism, international terrorism and others. In the immediate aftermath, there was some public confusion over whether it was a terror attack. The mayor of New Orleans at first said it was, but a local FBI official countered that it was not because the FBI is incompetent. Attorney General Merrick Garland and the FBI then came out and said that they were in fact investigating the incident as terrorism. And I do believe I have those clips here because there was a back and forth on this. And I think here was one response immediately after the event took place. This is Mayor Latoya Cantrell. She's saying she's been talking to the White House, and this is what she said this morning.
Well, we do know that the city of New Orleans was impacted by a terrorist attack. It's all still under investigation. You'll hear more after me. However, I have been in direct contact with the White House, with Governor Landry, and of course a unified command who is present here. What I'm asking at this time are prayers for those who have lost their lives in the city of New Orleans due to this tragedy. In addition to that, I'm asking the public to stay clear of 8 blocks around Bourbon Street. Stay clear from Bourbon Street, 8 blocks around. Very active, and again, a unified command is in place right now. I'm going to ask Chief Kirkpatrick to give you an update. You're then going to hear from our agent in charge relative to the FBI.
All right, so that was just one short statement. There was another statement from another individual who is this person. Here's what they said.
In order to conduct this, he was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did. Because of the nature and the indices that we have on the scene, and we have enough information that the FBI will be taking over this investigation. And with that, I am going to be asking, this is the assistant agent in charge. This is Agent Duncan, Special Agent Duncan, and she has taken over this case on behalf of us and the FBI. As always, we will be in partnership with all of our partners. But Agent Duncan, if you want to have a few words for everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning. My name is Alethea Duncan. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge for FBI New Orleans. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we'll be taking over the investigative lead for this event. This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found, and we are working on confirming if this is a viable device or not. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we're asking everyone to stay away from Bourbon Street, specifically from Canal Street to St. Anne. That is my ask. Once again, stay away from Bourbon Street, Canal Street, all the way to St. Anne until we can figure out what is going on. Our goal is to provide you additional information at 11 a.m. press conference. Thank you so much, and we will be in touch.
Yes. I will say that we want our community and our visitors to continue enjoying. There's so much to enjoy about New Orleans, and we are going to make sure that our routes in the Superdome are safe today for the game, and yet we had this tragic...
Just give us a few minutes to clean up the bodies, and then it'll be safe again.
In our community. But we do want you to
not
go
a terrorist
about the
attack,
day,
though, either.
As we say, just stay away from Bourbon, okay?
Can you elaborate on the device? You did say something about the device.
We actually are not going to be taking questions this morning until we have more information. That's why we will give you an 11 11 o'clock.
Well, how about we ask the
briefing.
FBI,
So until then,
since it's their
please hold
case.
your questions. We will give you everything that we possibly can, okay? So 11 o'clock, we will see you at the headquarters, and we will go again from there, okay?
Chief, were the bullards engaged? Were the bullards engaged?
The device is confirmed.
Thank you all. We will see you at 11 a.m.
All right, so the FBI comes out, like, definitely not terrorism, okay? So FBI, what did they add to that conversation? Stay away from Bourbon Street. She just repeated some directions, like she got them off MapQuest or something. All right, so that's what some of the confusion was. They did say, yeah, it was terrorism, or they're investigating it as terrorism. In the attack, a man drove a pickup truck into a crowd, New York revelers, Bourbon Street, 3:15 Wednesday. Multiple officials identify the guy, Shamsud Din Bahar Jabbar, age 42. FBI officials, who were typically cautious until they gather more statements, said Wednesday that as they learned more, particularly the discovery of a cooler containing an improvised bomb next to the suspect's vehicle, they became more certain it was terror. The combination of a truck used as a weapon along with the bomb led investigators to believe the goal was to cause additional deaths on civilians. Many elected officials and members of the public think that of terrorism primarily as a method of violence, but however, to investigators and prosecutors, motive or ideology is also important part of it, which is interesting. So it's like if you blow up a bunch of people, it's not terrorism unless you have a motive for doing it. You're like, I didn't have any motive. I just want to blow people up. Well, you're just a psychopath, not a terrorist. Got it. All right. So Governor Jeff Landry of Louisiana said the state officials were coordinating with the FBI, calling it fluid. We understand the concerns of the community, want to reassure everybody things are safe. Get out there. We got sports games coming up. Israel's foreign ministry said 2 Israeli citizens were wounded in the attack. Israeli officials were in touch with their families as well as with local hospitals. The ministry said in a statement without specifying how seriously they were injured. Probably have some Republicans come out and say they need a couple more $1 billion for that. Vehicle ramming attacks using cars and trucks as weapons has become common. The dead suspect in the New Orleans attack has been identified as 42-year-old Shamsud. Karen Bass is talking about it. Kimberly Strickland and others. And her husband came to New Orleans from Mobile, Alabama for concerts. And of course, the whole thing is just terrible. So Biden was traveling back home. He was coming in from his vacation and we got clips of him coming up. But shout out to these officers who responded this way. Somebody was watching this on EarthCam and here is what it looked like when they got the call. Man, there's an attack underway. Off to the races. All right, so it was going down, obviously, there last night. Horrific scene. Prayers for everybody involved. Hopefully, there are quick recoveries. Now, something strange has also happened. People were noticing that there was a smoldering Cybertruck that was in flames outside of Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, as you can see. This was reported from this individual. Jeffrey Miller says something just happened at Trump Tower in Las Vegas. Smoke seen rising from the parking area of Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. And here's what it looks like.
Oh my God. I heard that boom too, but I didn't know it was actually.
It was a boom?
It was a person in the hallway. Holy shit.
All right, so something smoldering there, a lot of smoke. Now, on the other side of this, here's what it looked like from inside the lobby of Trump Hotel. And it's very interestingly placed right out front. Okay, that is the main entrance. So somebody pulled up a Cybertruck. I have a hard time believing that that thing just spontaneously combusted and had a battery problem or something right there. More likely than not, if I had to guess, if that other dude was renting his Ford pickup truck and then driving that through a bunch of people, why wouldn't somebody else rent a Cybertruck, post it right in front of Trump Hotel, and then blow it up when Elon was hanging at Mar-a-Lago with Trump the night before? Interesting coincidence. Or not. Are those other explosives going off or are those battery cells exploding? So who knows if that is anything to be concerned about. Maybe somebody just had some New Year's fireworks and a lit cigarette and the whole thing just went haywire. Who knows? Like in the movies. Sounded like some of those whistle fireworks. Right? What was that? I heard those last night, but not in a Cybertruck, not in front of Trump Hotel. So maybe it's a coincidence. Feels like it's a message. If it's right in front, it's parked right there, then it explodes. Feels like it is an intentional message. It's a Cybertruck. It's at Trump Hotel. It's parked right in front. It's blowing up randomly. Feels like there's a little bit more there than just a coincidence. So strange things are happening. 2024 was lit. 2025 already off to to a wild start and mournful start in many ways. We're asking what is going to be happening elsewhere. In Washington, D.C., Mayor Muriel Bowser has said that she has met with President Trump. She posted this on the 30th, said that she met with Trump. And Mayor Muriel Bowser was the same mayor who rejected the National Guard when Trump said they were going to send them the last time. But now her tune is changing a bit. She said, "Today, President Trump and I had a great meeting to discuss our shared priorities for the president's second term. Trump and I both want D.C. to be the best, most beautiful city in the world. We want the capital city to reflect the strength of our nation. We discussed areas for collaboration between the local and the feds, especially around the federal workforce, underutilized buildings, parks, green spaces, infrastructure. I'm optimistic that we'll continue to find common ground with the president during his second term. We look forward to supporting a successful inauguration on January 20th. And so as all this stuff is happening, we're asking about the inauguration and whether anything strange is going to happen on January 6th, January 20th, or in the immediate aftermath. And in all likelihood, the answer is yes, right? These are interesting times. Our country has been wide open, filled with criminals and people within our own government who are ransacking everything. So times are precarious. We are praying for the people who we lost in this horrific attack. And of course, we want safety and prosperity in 2025. So we'll keep our eye on this story. Thank you for subscribing and joining as we do.